Would you be in a poly relationship?
No,
No.
no, not my thing.
Emphasis on no. Okay, got you. What's your question?
Well, so first question is, Sean, how you doing?
Feeling good.
My question for y'all. I'm just flabbergasted that I got in here, but um, I want to know, Sean, do you feel like ever since Shanice left, there has been a distraction from your business to your personal life with what's going on with your relationship and you building your businesses?
Um, no, to be honest with you, I think I performed better in my business once Shanice was gone. I put a lot of effort and a lot of energy behind the scenes towards making Shanice work because family is very important to me. And we were having problems and issues. And by me, I mean I wasn't being like the best leader that I needed to be and was doing things to try to like fix it, probably for months. But I honestly, production honestly just went up like after she like left, to be honest.
So it went up. Okay, so I have another question for you. I believe it was a couple of weeks ago, Sean, you mentioned that you felt that there were a lot of things that you messed up with that relationship with Shanice, right? So you said that you could have been better in many areas. However, after her second video came out, you were saying that and hinting at the fact that you think that she has some mental health issues. So did you always feel that way, or did that feeling not come about until she released her truth?
I will say this. This is a great question. I know that we have fundamental differences on things. She's a big therapy person. She wanted to, and I don't want to get too much into it because like that's her thing. That's her thing to deal with. I'll say before me, if it's on her Instagram, she literally talks about her own like mental health, like things she's dealt with in the past. I don't want to say label her with issues. That's not my place to do that. I know she's had struggles with it in the past that she's like shared, and like we've all had struggles. But she shared that, and then sharing her truth. Again, I'm not here to invalidate her. Mainly want to say I'm praying for her. I'm still praying for her well-being. But I'll put it to you like this: if I go downstairs and I talk to, I see a bunch of homeless people. I live downtown, so if I go downstairs and around the corner, there'll be a bunch of homeless people. Some of them are on drugs. Some of them will be on drugs and they may be talking to people and having a conversation. If somebody was to go and ask me about, like they're talking to somebody that's not there, right? We've all seen it. I don't know where you grew up, but if you grew up in the city, you'll see homeless people talk to people that are literally not there. They're having a conversation with people that's not there. Have you ever seen that before?
I see it all the time.
So you know exactly what I mean. Now, I'm not here. Who am I to sit up here and invalidate their opinion? If they feel like they're talking to somebody, hey, that's on them. But their opinion does not reflect or define my reality. I know that there's nobody really there. However, if they feel like they're talking to somebody, that's their opinion. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's an accurate reflection of reality. So again, everybody has their own healing process. And I am praying for Shanice's mental health well-being. I'm not going to pretend to know what's going on in her head or in her mind. And I'm not invalidating her opinion. I just personally feel like her opinion, matter of fact, I know her opinion does not define reality. And it wasn't even just about the so-called abuse situation. Like when I say her opinion doesn't define reality, I mean like almost all of it. Like the fact that she like said we had conversations, she tried to fix me. Like I just disagree with that because I remember being at the conversations and every month asking my queen, like, hey, is there anything I can do to be a better king for you? And I vividly remember every single time, no, perfect, 10 out of 10. And I'm like, hey, nobody's perfect. What can I do? And I remember getting the same response. Nothing for months. So again, she has her opinion. I don't know if she like batted her eyes or winked or did whatever, or maybe in her mind she thought she said something. But I'm just gonna tell you it didn't reflect my reality. So it wasn't even about the abuse situation. Like it was about like a lot of the stuff, like the communication, about the incidents, just a lot of it. A lot of the stuff she was saying that happened never happened. Like her trying to talk to me, her trying to fix me, never happened. Her talking to me about traumas, never happened. Her asking me why I wanted a family, never happened. Her sitting here trying to tell me areas to improve, never happened during those conversations. So
do you think that there are areas that you need to improve in as a man in general?
yeah.
So what are some of those areas?
Listen, there's 50 million areas I can improve in. Everything. I think the main biggest points that I did not do. Number one, letting her know she was a priority in my life. Number two, I hate to equate it to this, but like, I just think I was not fucking her enough. Like, if I was fucking her every day like I needed to be, then like I don't think any of this would be like.
So with that statement, that's interesting. It's interesting that you say that, but do you really think that women can be kept because of sex and let go and erase everything else that happens?
If you're gonna ask me a question, please allow me to finish. I think intimacy is very important. I think sex is very important. I know we try to sit up here and say that it's not, but I think it's extremely important in a relationship. And I want to make it perfectly clear. When I'm ever with a woman, I am going to make sure that I am putting that thing down right, because women need that. They need to feel that divine masculinity, I think personally, on a daily basis. I think it's a form of communication. So I didn't create a safe environment for her to communicate effectively. She didn't feel comfortable coming to me with her feelings. I think I could have been a better job at being a rock when women come with the emotional waves, just handling that a lot better. And then also financially. Just because I'm like, hey, I don't want to spend any money. I want to put all of our money towards wealth creation. Not all women are going to like understand that. So creating an environment where they can flourish and then having more communication about that. Right? Because that was something that I really, really neglected, because I was so focused on like, hey, I want assets, every penny. I don't want to spend anything unless it's for like assets. That's something that could have all been fixed. But to your point, I do think sex is extremely important. As a matter of fact, I think it's 50% of a relationship.
But I think, the last, and I have to admit, I don't watch all of your lives, and I don't watch them all in their entirety. So I don't know if this has been addressed yet, but it seems the last few that I've seen is that you talk a lot about sex. And so, yes, sex is very important in a relationship, but I feel like you talk about it so highly that that's where you find your value. Is that where you find your value?
No, that's not where I find my value, but that is a major mistake that I made in my last relationship. And I don't talk about just sex. I talk about emotional maturity. I think I've said that, hey, I was being a bitch way more times than I've talked about like sex. My two cents, maybe that might not reflect your reality, because again, I'm not trying to invalidate your experience, but based off of my recollection, I feel like I've said, hey, I was being a bitch way more times than I've talked about sex. I think we just recently started talking about sex last week. I think sex is just like a hot button for people, and they really pay attention to it. But I want to make it perfectly clear. I could have been better mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and emotionally, as well as sexually. I think I have room for improvement in like all of those.
Okay. Olivia, how are you this evening?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Just relaxing. Now I have a couple of questions for you. How do you feel about what Shanice said in her second video?
I'm honestly wishing her well.
No. I want to know how you feel, not what you're doing. I want to know how you feel.
If you're going to ask her a question, let her answer. Respectfully.
No, I respect that, Sean. You're absolutely right. But I just want to make sure that when I do ask a question, you're actually answering it and not changing the narrative of the question that I asked.
Yeah, if I'm right about it, then let her answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I am praying for her on her healing journey, and it's going to be amazing that she is on her healing journey. However, the thing about me, I was like a third person here, so like a lot of the things, and I would say most of the things that she said in the video, were not true.
What was true?
I'm talking about the hitting and even the conversations. Oh my goodness, I've been in like all their conversations. We had conversations with each other. It was a really good bonding moment. We had conversations with all three of us, and we would talk about, how can I be a better queen? How can I be a better king? And everybody would ask each other the same question, and it would pretty much be that. She would basically say, hey, You know, I am like, I think everything's good. I just need to improve. And yeah, that's basically what happened. A lot of the conversations, I just didn't see that. None of the conversations.
Not a single one.
Not the conversations about like, why do you want a family? Is it because you didn't have one? That never happened.
So what was true? I know you say most. Since you say most of it wasn't, it may be a little bit easier to talk about what was true. So what was true?
Listen, this at the end of the day.
Respectfully, Sean. Respectfully, I asked Olivia.
Here's the. I understand you're talking to Olivia. At the end of the day, regarding Shanice, like we can keep talking about it, and I get you guys have questions, and we all care for Shanice, and we're sending our heart out to Shanice.
Who do you pray to?
Listen, at the end of the day, the challenge is still the challenge. Like I would love to do full transparency. Hey Shanice, ask me any question that you want. You can write down all your questions, and I'm gonna write down all my questions. And then you write down all the questions you ask to yourself, and I'm gonna write down all the questions that I ask to yourself. And we just take the little test. Hand up, hand on the Bible, swear to God that we're telling the truth, and we both do it on the live and share the questions with people so there's full transparency.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Listen. I'm not here to invalidate Shanice's story. I'm not here to invalidate her. The only thing I'm going to say is this. Matter of fact, I know 100% that it does not reflect reality. The allegations, the communication, the process, the things she said to me, the way she felt, the way she viewed our relationship, the stuff she said about Olivia being babysat, like just none of that, it was just, listen, that is her opinion. That is her experience. The same way homeless people who are on drugs are talking to people.
So why are you comparing Shanice to someone who's homeless and on drugs?
Listen.
Why would that be your comparison?
Okay, guys, if somebody is suffering from something, and it's just a story. I'm not trying to sit up here and say like, oh, she's on drugs or oh, she's this. I think you guys are taking it out of context.
But that's the comparison you're using.
Listen. At the end of the day, the same way somebody that's outside talking to somebody that's not real, that way that they're a person, they have their own story, but their story does not define my reality. No matter what they say, I'm never gonna see somebody that person they're talking to. That's invisible. I can't see that. And it's the same way with Shanice. I'm sorry, that just does not reflect reality. And if she does feel like it reflects reality, let's just take the test. I don't want to keep going back and forth about it. Like we have nothing to say. I'm not mad at her. I don't think that she's a bad person. It's all love for Shanice. Like I want to see her do great things. It does not reflect reality. And if like
okay, so I can respect that. So I have a question for you because you didn't want Olivia to ask the question that I asked. So why is it? Because I've noticed
that it's just like you.
So can you wanted me to let you finish? Can I get the same respect?
Go ahead. You're right.
Thank you. So when I've noticed that when people do ask you questions, instead of answering it, you go on a monologue around something else, right? And so you don't want to answer the question directly. When it comes to you asking Shanice to take a lie detector test, why does she need to be a participant for you to prove your side?
No, it's not even about me being right or not. It's about to get total transparency. Because here's the truth. If I go
but
take
you
a
can
test,
be transparent without her.
Let me give you your answer. If I go and take a test and then it comes all back negative, you know what y'all gonna say? Oh, you made that up. How do we know you didn't have the results? How do we know that that's real? How do we know that that's verified? How do we know you didn't switch the paperwork? How do we know you didn't pay for that? That's what y'all gonna say. So the thing is,
why does our opinion matter though?
Hold on. You're gonna be like, oh, no. That's not what you meant. That's not what she meant. So the thing is, if Shanice comes and writes down all these questions, there's nothing I can hide from because I'm answering the questions that she wanted me to ask. I can't hide from that. And then if I write down my questions, it's like, okay, it's her side, it's my side. And then you get to see her side from her side and my side. So the thing is, it's total transparency. She can have somebody here during the test that verifies, watches the test, make sure it's legitimate. And the same thing with her. I will want somebody there to verify and make sure it's legitimate. It's just transparency. Because I can sit up here and go and take the test and the only thing y'all gonna say is be like, well, how do we know this? Well, how do we know this? But if we're involved and we do it together, there's no way you can hide it. There's no way you can fake that. You see what I'm saying? So it's just
I see what you're saying. However, I will say this. If you're in a situation where someone is accusing you of something that you say is not true, why do you need their participation to prove you know about yourself? And secondly,
Transparency.
Secondly, you don't need someone else to come up with a list of questions. You can watch the video, come up with the questions yourself, take a test and prove your side. So I just think that that's actually an excuse, especially giving and offering people money to go to her to try to get her to participate in something that she clearly feels like she doesn't need to participate in. So why don't you just do it solo?
Okay,
You
so
don't need
when I
her
come
to
to
do
do
it.
it, when I come and do a solo, and then they're going to be like, "How do we know that's real?" I will have just wasted my time, guys. There's nothing. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. There's nothing that I can say to you guys. There's nothing that I can show you guys to make you guys believe me. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to continue to try to prove myself to you. The only thing I'm saying is just, Shanice, if you feel so confident, we can both do this. Hey, you ask me whatever you want. I can't hide. I can't even hide. Shanice, come up here. You ask me anything you want. You write down any question about our relationship. I'll answer it. Like on the test, I ask my questions that I want to ask myself. I write down the questions I want to ask you. You write down the questions that you want to ask you. I can't fake
You said that. You're right. You said that multiple times, though. You're being very repetitive and not really addressing the actual issue. So I'll move on to another question. So why is it that when people address Olivia, you interrupt and not let her finish what's being asked to her? Olivia, she's a full-grown adult, and I feel that she's absolutely 100% capable of answering questions for herself. But it seems that whenever things get a little hot and you don't want her to address something, there's always a move that you need to make, or you need to interrupt her so that she can't speak for herself. So why is it that you exhibit these controlling behaviors?
Well, if you think that I'm being controlling, you think that I'm being controlling. I feel the need to. I feel like I can interject anytime I want. The same way if she wants to throw something in a conversation, she can throw something in a conversation. At the end of the day, we're family. So I feel like if she has the need to speak on something and I want to add on something, I can. And to be honest with you, I think you guys just ask questions to try to push narratives, to be completely transparent. You guys don't want the truth. You guys come up here to try to push a narrative that's not true.
What narrative am I trying to push?
At the end of the day, if this was all, you know what I'm saying makes sense. And I'm telling you, I want more transparency from both sides. And you're saying, no, why don't you just do it? And then when I go do exactly what you said I did.
But you didn't do it.
No, guess what you're going to say? Oh, that's not real. The same way you guys told me.
No, that's not.
Hold on, excuse me. The same way you guys told me for months that this is an Airbnb. And then it wasn't an Airbnb. And then Shanice was paying for it. And then Grant Cardone was paying for it. And then Uncle Santa Claus was paying for it. Guys, it's always the narrative that you got. There's nothing that we can show you. There's nothing that we can show you to prove it. So
it's not we. It's not we. It's not we. It's you. It's not a we. It's you.
Okay, listen, respectfully, I believe, in my opinion, the only way that, first of all, it's already put to bed. If Shanice doesn't want to do it, she don't want to do it. It's just a challenge because I'm very confident that her opinion doesn't reflect my reality. And I will say this. The only way I feel like this test will be valid is if we both had full transparency. She asked me whatever. I asked her whatever, she asked herself whatever, and I asked myself whatever. That way we get both perspectives and we do it right here live. You can't fake it. She has somebody that's independent that can be verified. I have somebody there that's independent that can verify that the test is actually valid. That's the only thing that I'm saying. I'm not trying to agitate. I'm not trying to traumatize. All I'm saying is this. She's entitled to her opinion. It does not reflect our reality.
Okay.
Any of it.
Yeah.
Can we move forward from the test question?
Yeah, I also wanted to add on that is that like there's also two sides to the story, so why not validate both sides? You
Well,
can't just,
actually,
like,
Olivia, in life, you're going to learn in life there are three sides to the story. So there's his side, there's her side, and then there's the absolute truth. So in life, as you grow up and you go through experiences, you will learn that there are three sides.
You said it. That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point.
You never said that, Sean. Don't take my words and try to use them as if that's what you were trying to say, because that's not what it was.
So you don't. She asked me all her questions, and I asked her all the questions, and we get both sides of it. And then there's her side, there's my side from both perspectives, and the truth. Which
respectfully, I don't think any of us really have many questions for Shanice.
Oh, I would have a lot of questions.
Because the reality of it is, she has shared what her truth is. And so you continually, but you know what's interesting actually, Sean? I've been this time through our interaction, I have watched your response, and your emotions and your energy get a little tainted and aggressive when you start to talk about that. So I'm going to ask you, because it seems like this is the way that the dynamic goes. Are you okay with me asking Olivia a question and letting her actually answer it? Are you okay with that?
She's been answering.
Well,
she's been answering the questions, and I'm going to interject anytime I feel like it. And if you have a problem with that, then you don't have to come on our lives.
No, I don't have a problem with it, but I actually want Olivia to understand and see the controlling situation that she's in. If I want her eyes to
So
open, she's actually my
let me get
concern,
this
not
straight.
you.
Let me get this straight. It's controlling to sit up here and act, and you're asking her a question about me and Shanice's relationship. Why can
No,
I?
I asked,
Why
no, that's
would
not what I asked her. You
what
know, that's
makes
not
you
what
feel
I
like?
asked her.
Hold on,
Sean, I'm not one of these women that you're going to cut off and interject. That's not who I am.
Go ahead.
I asked her a question. I asked her what was true in the video. She said some things were true and some things weren't. She said most things were not true. And I clearly said, then let's talk about the things that were true. And then you interjected and you stopped her. So that's what I wanted to know. What was true in her opinion, from her vantage point? That's what I asked.
I already told him, like, she did make a lot, like she said in the video, in terms of sacrifice. I feel like she wasn't. She could have been given more gratitude, and she could have been just told more that, like, she was a big part in our family, like, and she was important, and she was loved, and she was cared for. So that's one thing that I definitely, for myself could have done a better job instilling in her, that, like, she's a huge part of the family and a huge part of even my life, because she did sacrifice.
Okay, so I want to ask you one more time because you've told me about how you felt about it and not what was true. So that's what I want. I want you to understand the question that I'm asking, because I'm asking.
Literally just answered your question.
That was the only thing that was true in the video.
Bro, you're
Period.
trying to push
So
the
the only
narrative.
thing, so the only,
Listen, this is
see,
why.
there you go again. I'm not one of those women, Sean. You could drop me down if you want to, but I'm not that one. I'm not one of those women. I'm not one of your supposed to be seven. I'm not the one sitting next to you. I don't do that. I don't do that.
You definitely not one of my supposed to be seven.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't be a
You are
one. I wouldn't
definitely
be.
not
I wouldn't be
that.
nothing.
Yeah,
None of
you're
that.
definitely not that. You're a lot of
Any
things.
of that.
You're not one. You're not one of those.
The thing about it is because, see, I'm a lot older than you, Olivia, and I've seen men like him a lot in my life. And so I really hope, my hope for you, Olivia, is that you wake up soon. That's what I really hope, is that you wake up soon and that you open your eyes and that you see that you can really be much greater when you separate yourself from this type of man. You will learn over time. And I'm sorry that you are in a position like the one you are in now. See, he's laughing. He thinks it's funny. But you have to think, something for you to think about is that after that video came out, instead of him taking the allegation as seriously as it is, he turned it into a challenge. It's a game to him. This is the kind of man that you have partnered yourself with. It is. You're the one who called it a challenge. Did you not call it a challenge?
We're gonna take a lie seriously.
Bro.
Why would we take a lie seriously? Like, come on.
Come on, man.
You've been trained well, Olivia. You've been trained very well.
The thing is,
You've been trained
in a
well.
relationship. Like, I appreciate you guys looking out and having your concern for me and Shanice, but I was in the relationship. I saw it as a third person. You guys.
So did you see her kneeling on rice?
In the house.
Did you see her kneeling on rice?
And you guys swear you know.
Did you see her kneeling on rice?
One side of the relationship.
Listen, at the end of the day, you're just here to push a narrative. You're not even here.
What's
to
the
have a
narrative, Sean?
conversation. No, whatever narrative you want. Listen, if you want to.
If it's a narrative I'm trying to push, tell me what the narrative is.
If you want to go out and call me an abuser, that's fine. That's
That came out of your mouth, not mine. I never said those words.
That's the narrative that's the
I
narrative
never said those words. That came straight from your mouth, sir.
Cool. So cool. Listen, call me whatever you want.
I didn't call you anything.
Call me whatever
You can
want.
drop me. You can lean over and drop me. That's fine. Olivia, you are in my prayers, sweetheart, because you deserve so much better than what you are attached to.
What's your
Have a great
relationship?
evening.
What's your relationship status?
Not with anybody like you.
Not with anybody, period. Peace. Bro. All right. Listen, man.
Y'all
Listen.
swear you were in the relationship.
Bro, it's just so wild, bro.
I think it's interesting. Like, they weren't in the house, they weren't in the relationship, they didn't see what happened, but y'all swear you know it. You swear you know it. Like you swear.
Listen,
you know
man.
it.
At the end of the day, listen. We're not here to invalidate anybody's story, anybody's experience. But at the end of the day, somebody's opinion, somebody's experience does not reflect our reality. So with that being said, we're still praying for Shanice, praying for like her mental health, and I hope she finds healing. I'm not here to agitate her. I'm not here to piss her off. I'm not here to press her buttons. I put the challenge out. You guys know $5,000 if she takes a test and that her story matches up with what was actually said on that YouTube channel. $1,000 to the person who joins her live and gets her to actually agree to it. Because I'm sure everybody has questions. You guys all have questions. Like, we can talk about other things other than Shanice. I know you guys have a lot of questions. And $500 to whoever sends me the recording of that. All right. And it's just, you guys think that like you guys are so strong-minded, but like you guys are like, I don't want to say people are weak-minded, but easily influenced. Like, you guys swear we do cocaine. You guys swear I was talking to Olivia when she was 17 years old. You guys swear that this was an Airbnb. You guys swear that I don't make money. You guys swear that everything's a scam. Like, listen, man, it seems like you guys just pretty much have it all figured out, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and you're not in the relationship. You guys see it on TikTok Live, but that's it.
it's crazy. It's wild. It's just like, bro, like I've shown you guys, I've been more transparent with you guys than like anything. Your lady says I don't make 10K a month. Somebody's like, I don't make 10K a month. I show you guys I spent over $500,000 this year, and I'm on pace to spend over $1 million this year. How can you make that up? Like,
Yeah,
like, please make this make sense.